Hello, this is Josh Belk with Belk on Business Podcast. Today we're going to start, probably going to spend the next, maybe 3 or 4 podcasts just kind of talking through some reasons why business owners or businesses in general end up not succeeding or failing. And we've seen here at my accounting firm, we've started to see a few businesses, and even in this most recent week, some businesses, actually a couple clients that we no longer have as clients, that we did receive notification that they had closed their doors and gone out of business. We're starting to see, I think, some with this economic downturn that we're experiencing. And I understand there can be a debate, and a lot of it becomes political of whether we are or we aren't in a recession or whatever the case may be. And of course, those are all economic models, and somehow those have become politicized as well. But I think one thing all of us can say for certain is things are a lot harder now than they were a few years ago. And we're starting, and we are, I think, actually in and really starting to get into even more so some difficulties we haven't seen in about the last decade and a half. So for those of us who've been around for a while that experienced the downturn of the late 2000s, the 2008 time frame, as we started to see the economy really go through a difficult time. Of course, it looked a little bit different then than it does now. Different indicators, different issues going on in the economy that kind of created this environment. But bottom line, it's just going to be hard for a while. And because of this difficulty, the mistakes that we make as business owners, we're going to see those mistakes really become much more under a magnifying glass. And so things that we could have gotten away with over the last few years, actually the last number of years, that up until I think through the pandemic, we kind of had other issues. We're on the backside of it. And so things before the pandemic were really easy. It was really easy to drive revenue. It was easy to find clients. It was easy to, everything was just humming along. If you needed product, you needed inventory, it was easy to find. If you needed to find customers, kind of going out there and just doing the work, a little bit of effort, usually pretty easy to find customers. That's not the case anymore. All kinds of supply chain issues. Inflation is just kind of just something that's hitting us all in the back pocket, both as business owners and also those of us who are consumers. It's kind of affecting us on both ends. Really trying to go about making sure that our people are still taken care of. Of course, we have this massive strike going on with the auto workers, and they're really starting to feel it because of inflation and them kind of working. And so you kind of have all these dynamics that we're seeing that things are just a lot more difficult. And so because things are more difficult, the mistakes that we make as business owners are going to become a lot more apparent. It's going to become a lot more apparent to us if we don't have our head in the sand. And it's definitely become more apparent to our customers, to our clients, to our team members, to our vendors, et cetera. And so what are some reasons? There is no one single reason. This is why all businesses fail, or this is why all businesses succeed. I think that's kind of crazy thinking, but I think there can be one of a many reasons, and probably more than one reason in most situations why a business may not succeed. And the alternative, as we kind of look at this, I think it may be areas that we can look at and we can consider as it relates to, okay, we're doing okay. And so for my accounting firm, for my other businesses that I have as well, unfortunately they're all still growing, but it's kind of one of those things that they're growing the right way, making sure that we're still maintaining things as they are currently as we bring on more clients. We're a little more slow in our growth process, really being more purposeful in what we do inside the business. And so just doing these types of things, and it is going to be more methodical. It is going to be harder. It's going to be more purposeful in order for us to be able to continue to see success in our businesses over the coming, who knows, it could be years that we're kind of in this little bit of an economic funk that we're in currently. And so reasons businesses fail, I'm going to kind of talk through 5 of them today, and I'll probably take 5 over the next 2 to 3 weeks each week and just kind of just talk through these. And I think maybe a lot of these are just in some ways just talking points, or maybe points to consider as it relates to us, our relationship with our people, both internal of the business and external of the business as well. So first of all, I think maybe the number one reason why businesses don't succeed in the long term is they lose sight of their purpose. It can become really easy as the business owner to kind of get caught into kind of the day-to-day of the business. And so we come in, things are hard. Okay, we start focusing on how we're going to find that next customer or pleasing this customer or Am I going to have to lay off some employees? Do I need to hire some employees? I kind of get stuck in those day-to-day type things. And when we end up doing that, sometimes we just overall just end up losing sight of our purpose. Why did I decide to get out of bed and show up to work today? Why did I start this business to begin with? Why do I want this business to provide some sort of a legacy piece in my life? Keep those reminders in front of us. And so as part of our daily routine, and I'm going to talk about this, and you're going to see this riddled a little bit throughout this particular podcast and the ones going forward, I think we need to be very purposeful in reminding ourselves of our purpose. And that can come in a number of different ways. And think of, very practical ways. It's just something I have on the face of my phone or on my computer, reminders around me. Is it one of those things that when I'm getting stressed, I'm kind of feeling myself just kind of getting pulled into the business in a way that's not bringing positive energy? Do I need to take a step away for a moment and remind myself of this is why I'm here? And this is why we do what we do as a team. And this is why I want to serve my customers well. This is why I want to have a good relationship with my vendors. This is why I want to lead my team well. And to just keep ourselves reminded of our purpose. When we don't do that and we lose sight of why we do what we do, our business is going to take a step back and eventually could end up failing. So always be leading with purpose, always be reminding ourselves of our purpose. And this is something that is really kind of needs to be a daily type of a thing, especially when things are a little bit more difficult. So the reasons business fail, they lose sight of their purpose. Some of them fail because they don't have a real good purpose to begin with. And so they just get into it to make money. And that's usually not something that is sustainable in the long term. Okay, so that purpose does need to be broader. And of course, that's been talked about on thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of podcasts and books, etc. So finding that purpose, know what your purpose is, keep that purpose in front of you, and live with purpose in mind each and every day. Number two, businesses fail when they stop investing in themselves as business owners and also investing in the team. And really, this kind of goes beyond just even investing in the team, but also investing in a way that also impacts your outside relationships as well. But we stop investing in ourselves, number one. So and that comes across. We think of personal development. Okay, I'm going to go to a seminar. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to take the information. I'm going to put it into action. That's extremely true. But the investing in ourselves really starts on being very purposeful in decisions of how we take care of ourselves. So are we purposeful in our sleep? Are we purposeful in our morning routines? Are we purposeful in those types of things? If we invest, we need to invest in ourselves and making sure that invest in our sleep, invest in a good diet, invest in getting into a gym that you're actually going to use and to take care of ourselves. And so are we investing ourselves in that way, or we get busy and so we're going to just start putting the wrong types of food in our mouths. We're going to sacrifice sleep. There are seasons that's going to happen. We just came off of the corporate filing deadline, for example, here about a week and a half ago. And guess what? That week leading up, I did not sleep. I think the most sleep I got in any single night was about 3 hours and 20 minutes thereabouts, but I knew it was a week I was going to have to push through, but I prepared going up to that. Did I succeed? No. When I got up to the deadline, I was about ready to fall on my face. But we made it through. But it's kind of one of those things that we have to make sure that we invest in ourselves so we can perform. And that all starts with, are we sleeping well? Are we eating well? Are we getting out of when you get up in the morning, maybe getting outside and just getting 10 minutes of movement in, some fresh air, just doing these types of things that you're investing in yourself. Beyond that, are you investing in yourself in regards to getting information and working on your skill set, doing these types of things that's going to help you elevate, to set you apart from your customers? And this goes beyond, there's a lot of wonderful feelings going to a seminar or buying a book, and I love doing those types of things myself too, but it goes beyond that. Just spending the money on education, but not implementing, it was a pointless spend of money. So go through and making sure that you're spending money on that development, but also making sure that there's a process on the implementation side. So this goes also into your team. Are you investing into your team in these areas? Are you investing in them both personally and professionally? And then having a process for that and making sure that there's some accountability piece too. So spending that money, and also what are we going to do to implement what has been learned? Okay, so at the point of the business, because we can't spend money, we're going to start cutting money on the development of our team. We're going to stop investing in ourselves because we just don't have the money or we don't have the time, whatever the case may be. Huge mistake. If you stop investing in developing yourself and your team, your business will, in all probability, end up failing or definitely taking a step back. Your culture is going to fall apart. part, you're not going to be able to work through these difficult times if you aren't investing. Number three, poor leadership and management of ourselves and our team. And kind of going back even to the prior point, what does leading ourselves look like? Leading ourselves, what does that look like? When we get out of bed, we're very purposeful. And so we are leading ourselves. Sometimes, that discipline component can be very, very difficult. But if we can't be disciplined and lead ourselves, we're not going to be able to lead our teams effectively. And so are we leading well? And then also, are we managing well? And I understand when I first started in my career years and years and years ago, we were really starting to in the infancy of this transition that we saw really kind of flood the business management component of managing to leadership. But now, there's a lot of focus on leadership, and sometimes the management side falls apart. So we need to make sure that we're working in a way that there is good leadership and that management is aligned with leadership, and that all of it is aligned with purpose. So if there's poor leadership and or poor management of ourselves and our team, then our business is not going to be as successful if it succeeds at all. So we need to lead with purpose and manage with process. And so this is kind of an maybe overly generalized statement, but I think for categorically for the most part that it is true. And so we are going to lead with our purpose, but we're going to manage primarily with process. And if we're leading with purpose, we're managing well with process, we have the right people, our business is going to succeed. We end up with a failure in any of those three areas, okay, we're going to really run into some bumps in the road. Number four, spending time on tasks that we aren't good at or that we simply don't like doing. And so this is kind of one of those things that we as business owners, we can get pulled back into our business and end up finding ourselves in a place that we're doing things that we don't like or things that we're not good at. Now, when the business first starts up and we're a solopreneur, I was that way for many years. I answered my own phones, I did my own emails, I scheduled my own meetings, I took care of everything. I did everything myself, and that's the way it happens as a solopreneur. But as your business grows, you're able to bring on people. You need to be stepping out of those areas. So don't be spending the time on things you aren't good at. When you start doing that, you're going to find yourself really in a position of resentment. You're going to resent yourself. You're going to look back and you're going to hate the decisions you made years ago. You're going to kind of hate where you're at now. You're going to resent yourself. You're going to resent people who are going to ask you to do things that you aren't good at, simply because you have not put the people around you, the processes around you to help. And so if we're spending time on things that we don't like to do or things that we aren't good at, even at the leadership end, our business is not going to succeed. So we need to make sure that we're filling in those gaps. There are things that you don't like doing. There are people out there who do love doing those things. And so find those people, get them around you, make sure there's a cultural alignment, there's a purpose alignment, and then run with it from there. So don't be spending time on tasks that you aren't good at or you don't have the skill set to do. Find those things and be doing those things, you as the business owner, that's going to push the business forward. And then lastly for today, a failure to be kind. We have kind of a don't be a jerk rule. You may have one of those in your business as well. And we don't want to be jerks. Sometimes we find ourselves in that way. I know that because I went through and I made these notes reflecting back here over these last few weeks, times when things were I was tired, things were tough, and I sent a couple times a few emails that were a little bit curt, emails that were unkind, and you kind of hit the send button and okay, I got something off my chest, and then a few minutes later you have this sinking feeling in your stomach that, oh boy, I was kind of a jerk. And we find ourselves, having to apologize or whatever the case may be. And so always lead with kindness. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to your team. Be kind definitely to your customers. Be kind to your vendors. And just don't be a jerk. You get frustrated, you get tired, especially when things are difficult, when things are tough. We're finding our businesses are going to very much be stress tested. If they haven't already, they're going to be because of kind of the direction things are going with the economy. Okay, and so even during those frustrating and difficult times, be very purposeful in being kind. If that means stepping outside for a moment when things are difficult, I find myself sometimes doing this. I need to go and take a walk over. There's a smoothie place a couple buildings over. Maybe I just need to get outside and just take a 10-minute walk. Or I might go grab a smoothie, kind of hit a reset button, come in with a new mindset, have a little bit of a paradigm shift, coming back in to be the person I need to be, to show up to be the person I need to be. And most of the time, that person that I need to be is a person that's going to lead with kindness, is going to lead with purpose, is going to lead with compassion, is going to lead with integrity. These types of areas that we need to be leading with, but really we need to make sure that we are definitely leading with kindness, and we're implementing with our team in a way that we lead with kindness, with purpose, and people know that we care about them, we care about ourselves, and we really do want a good relationship with them. Once again, this is Josh Belk with Belk on Business Podcast. Hopefully this particular podcast brought you some value. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. We'll pick up on this topic next week. Have a wonderful day.